Beautiful.
Fancy.
5,
You're
4,
live.
3, 2, 1,
And
0.
we're off. Blasting into the universe again. Another Dream Show live. Myself, Stephen Aiken. My boy, Isaac Stackhouse.
What's up?
Here at the Peach Podcast Studios.
Syndicate.
Peach Podcast Syndicate Studios. Something, you know. I'm working on these intro things right there. That was pretty good.
That was good.
That was
I think
good.
That was good. I think that was great. Hey.
I'm working on it. We're gonna hit some stuff out of the park with that eventually. I'm gonna get good at that stuff. I have to do some ad work. Start hitting some.
Doing some more reads.
Yeah. What is that? What do you call that? Reading. Copy. I gotta read.
Copy.
Gotta read some copy.
Seth Morrison is in here pitching tents.
Oh, that's weird.
LOL. Double
Hey,
meanings of the English
what's
language.
Up, Seth? This is double entendre Wednesdays.
That's a
here.
word.
Yeah, it is. It's French. So, yeah, man. What's up? Back again. It is Wednesday. It's 2 p.m. Eastern. If anybody's watching this live, they should probably be at work, but we appreciate you, being with us instead.
Tuning in.
You
That
know.
midday slump.
We know we're more cooler than they are, the other folks. But yeah, so this week has been pretty chill, man. It's been nice to kind of again settling back into the roles of everyday life and not really having to be on edge for competition stuff and like worrying about that stuff so much. It's been cool. I can definitely tell the energy of myself back, like teaching is better. I feel like I'm more into it as far as like I don't know. I'm less like worried about stuff like for myself at least every day. So more just like ready to pour the energy back into the students and stuff like that. So that's cool. It's been nice to see that. Yeah, we're hitting strong numbers. We're getting like 16 to 17 people a few nights a week now, pretty consistently.
Did you ever think when you started, because y'all just had your year anniversary this last weekend,
yeah,
right?
This past week was the 1 year anniversary. This Saturday we did our 1 year party. Had some of the kids there and some of the other adults from the program in, and little like water house thing, I don't know, and some water balloons or whatever. Yeah, it's been 1 year, and it's been cool to see, like I said, the way that it's kind of laid itself out so far has been cool. I didn't necessarily have a number that I wanted, I guess, by the end of a year. I know that's maybe bad for like goal setting, but I didn't want to look at it as a like numbers of members kind of game. Is more of like, what kind of people are we getting in and who are they, rather than just like turning numbers, because that's not the vibe that I really want to go for. So we have over 50 members on our whatever you want to say roster. That come in at very, counting the kids and stuff. And in 1 year, I feel like that's really good, especially considering everything else. But now, we're looking to, like I said before, shift into that second phase of things where we have experience now as a team a little bit. We've got people with skill sets that they're building on, and people are starting to like do good jiu-jitsu at their respective levels. And so it's nice to start thinking about stepping out a little bit with some people on whatever level that they are, and just trying to test some waters because they're asking for it, wanting to compete a little bit. And
When you get that shift in your white belts, like what's something that you look for that's like you'll go ahead and encourage that in one of them, like if they've got that competitive edge, like what's something you see?
I mean, it's mostly just that they want it,
that
they ask for it. Typically, is something that I like. I don't want to, make someone compete, because I don't think that they would be like fully into it, and it could cause other problems that wouldn't be what you want out of someone when they go compete. So the main thing I would use is someone either that if they want to do it, I just encourage them to do it and keep it real, about their skill level. I feel like I'm very honest when people ask me stuff about them competing and where. If I think you could get wrecked, I'll tell you, but is that okay? I mean, it's okay with me if it's okay with you, sort of. What's at stake for you to go do this competition? Are you going to go just like compete in a little local grappling tournament? Then sure, man, you got nothing, nothing is on the line there except for some fun. So kind of go for it. I guess I haven't had a situation yet where we have a person that I feel like needs to compete for some reason. So I haven't felt the urge to push.
What would be like a need to compete? Like somebody who needs that lesson?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
You don't know what it looks like.
Not for us, because we don't have that big ego in the room of some. We don't need to knock anybody down any pegs or anything like that. And I think that's typically where you get some of that, where you want somebody to go out there and get tested so that they can figure out, where they are in the world for real. But I think most of our people are again, we're pretty honest. Because I try to keep it real with everybody. Respective to where we are in the world, you're mostly dealing with people who've trained for a year or less at this point. So you can only be so good at that point. That's no disrespect to anybody. That's just the way it is. In 1 year, you can only be so good. You could be the best 1 year person out there, but that's still only like this much of the game that you could understand.
Even if you're talking about a guy that like trained every single day, he was a natural athlete. Yeah.
He still doesn't really get it. Not fully. Like he could still be winning, but how many times could he win in a year or lose in a year enough to really kind of deal with like enough stuff to kind of like, the knee thing or the ankle thing or the shoulder thing or the, dealing with a girlfriend while you're trying to compete, or what, like all the different things life can throw at you besides like being an athlete.
That's deep. Like even the extra stuff off the mat, like that doesn't even have anything to do with it, but it has everything to do with it.
It's all of it. That's what gets you most of the time. Like I think people would train if you enjoy it. The training is typically fun and easy, even if it's hard. It's you still kind of enjoy it. At least I do.
I even like the bad stuff.
Yeah.
What do we say? I hate myself too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, but I do. So I think that there's that thing. But as far as like, what am I looking for? I'm just looking for somebody that wants to do it, and then I will start, trying to give them information about it. Some way, either directly, like telling them specifically this about the thing, or, just say, hey, I don't think that's what you need to do right now. I don't think you're ready for that, but we can start looking at that now
and build your way
and start talking about how to get to that point. I'm okay with that for sure. But I don't want to send someone out there to get like just murked. And like sent home in a body bag, basically with no understanding of at least that's a possibility.
That it could happen.
Yeah.
Like this too can happen to you.
It's a real thing that happens. And even if you're really good, sometimes you just get, smacked and it bees like that. So one thing I look for is, do I think they can handle that? That's the biggest thing. Can you handle that? Then you're probably going to be fine. And then at a certain point, if they can't handle winning, then we'll have to have different kind of conversations. If somebody's like a jerk for winning, then you have to like also rein that in, because you can't be a bad winner either. I don't want that kind of stuff around us either. You can be proud, happy that you win, celebrate, but that doesn't make you the lord of anyone else. You know, that doesn't give you the rights to much else, except for, you know, what it's in that given field. And it's kind of like that. And it's probably even worse in some ways, depending on where you're at. But just like, I think I've told it on the podcast before, on the show somewhere, like I've done a fight before, and like in a really amazing fight, it was really hype, won, you know, war. And then I'm at like a convenience store after, like literally the same night or whatever. And everybody in the store is like pulling away from me and like not, they don't know what I don't know what they're thinking about me, but I'm like cut and like still leaking.
Looking like what's his name off Fight Club.
I mean, I'm looking like a guy that would end up looking like this one day, you know, with my face all busted and chewed, and my nose has been crooked a couple different ways, and my ears are mangled. Like, you know, so it's just that thing. So it doesn't really matter. Nobody outside of your given little field is going to really care anyway. And then nobody even outside of that is going to care as much as you do about it. Like your specific one. I was talking with a couple of the guys today earlier about that kind of thing. Like nobody's going to remember your matches that much unless it's just something that's crazy, like good or maybe crazy bad. But just like, even then it'll fade. They won't really, really remember it the way that you have that emotional like attachment to your first match or your first fight or whatever. You remember that guy or person.
I remember what it smelled like.
Yeah, I mean it's that thing.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't know it until you've had it. And then it's yours. It's not anyone else's. That thing that you had that day, you know, it's similar to what maybe mine was, but it's yours, you know. And so once you have that, you can't. I don't know. I guess I went off on a little weird thing there.
No, I mean, like, how did you come to the conclusion as to what you wanted the gym culture to be like? Was that just pure experience, or did you always kind of have in your mind of like, this is what I would see as perfect?
Everywhere I've been, there's been things I wanted to change. And I never so everywhere I've been, there were things I wanted to change. And if I could change it, I did. And if I couldn't change it, then I would wait till it was my turn to try it and see how it would work. Because it's hard to say that something needs to change if it's been working, kind of. You know what I mean? But just because something's been getting you by doesn't mean it's always been the best way. Just because it works doesn't mean that's the best way, you know? And so there are a lot of, like, practices in jiu-jitsu culture that I think are a little, I don't know, like a little I don't know what the right word to say is, but I think that they are waste of time, sort of, when you could use that time to do something else. Maybe that would be a little bit better building skills than just wasting time, kind of filling that hour or filling that hour and a half that somebody has. And again, I don't know for sure that the things that I think are always right, you know, and I don't know for sure that the way that I think is the way for sure. But it's the way that I'm going to do it for now. And if something happens and I feel like the way that we're doing it needs to be changed in some ways, then we'll do that. You know, we'll look at what's going on, and we're gonna be honest about it, and we're gonna say, I think this is doing us good. I think this is doing us bad. We'll pivot into a new thing, like I've always done, like we always will. You know, like we always have to do to keep surviving in whatever way. You can't just like stop when something doesn't work. You got to figure out. You got to figure it out. You got to pivot. You got to go around. You got to go over. You got to, you know what I mean? You got to get another group of people to look at it and help see if you can figure it out. But whatever the thing is, if it doesn't work, then you gotta amend it. And even if that means disagreeing with people who are higher ranked than you, people that are smarter than you, according to the world. You know, if you have conviction about something, then believe in it and stand up for it and talk about it and be with it, you know. And again, I don't do the stuff I do, and you're in the room and you know some of the things I'm talking about. Just I don't have to do what they do, and it doesn't mean that they suck, or I think I'm better than them, or we are better than them. I just think that we're making a better use of our time a lot of times than other people do, because we spend 5 or 10 minutes getting ready to get into the class most of the time, where a lot of times I see people spend 15, 20 minutes or more like doing a warm-up or something like that, which is, I don't know, like I said, it's fine, I guess. It's not wrong. I don't see where it could be necessarily wrong. But what I want to do is maximize the instruction time that we have and the time to put into building the skills that we're working on, you know.
A lot of the like modern rooms that I've been training in that don't follow like what you're talking about, the traditional structure of how like classes will usually go, is that it'll be it's more focused, like you said, on the instruction, but like it's not necessarily that everybody's there for a physical class. Like sometimes people, like the class is almost a workout. A lot of the like high level guys, there's the intense part of class, and some of the drilling can get intense. But for the most part, class time is spent like discussing and further like learning the actual concept.
You're learning.
Yeah.
It's not a, yeah, and that's it, right? So there's a time for me, and again, I guess so. Yeah, so leaning on, is this my experience that why I'm doing it, or is it because I think I'm smarter than everybody else, or what? I think it's because of experience, and then that does also make me smarter than other people because of my experiences and seeing how it's played out for other people. I've been in a gym where before we would do MMA practice, we would go flip a tire, like a big tractor tire, like 100 times and run a couple of miles, and then we come in and wrap up and spar for an hour. Couple of 5 times a week.
Monday through Friday.
Yeah. No shin pads.
Nice.
Just wraps and gloves. No headgear, which was fine, right? Because that was stupid anyway.
Toughen up.
Yeah, that's, and so I did that, and I was like, that made me hard. It did. It made me super hard.
So it has a value to an extent.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, I know for sure that it can definitely benefit you, but then that runs out. Once you get hard, that can't be all you are. You got to have more than just being tough.
So like a finesse to that.
There has to be some finesse, and that's the thing about the first thing I look for is your willingness to go. Just are you asking to? Okay, cool. That's me trusting you enough now. And then back in the day, though, we were all fighting. Everybody, like, if you went into jiu-jitsu, it was mostly to do fights. It was probably because you were going to try to do MMA or something like that, or you wanted to fight. It wasn't for jiu-jitsu or for the art, It wasn't, let's just roll, bro. It was, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to beat people up. That's what it was. So I think that's a lot of it, too. People needed to be in shape because they needed to be able to fight or defend themselves because they weren't in good shape. So that's true. That's true to a degree. But do I need to do a CrossFit workout prior to working on my triangle from the bottom? Like, does that help? Does that help build the skills that I need to do the triangle? Does that type of warm-up really do the beneficial stuff that a warm-up should do for me in any kind of way for what you're doing, like, daily? And I just don't think that it does.
Not even for the competitor that might need, or are you saying just for the hobbyist or the person that's trying to train for self-defense?
So this is the thing, average people.
Okay, that was my question.
So that's the thing. If we're talking about a world-class facility where people are athletes and you're putting in work to try to be like a professional athlete,
you need to be able to do it tired.
You're going to have 2 or 3 a days. You're going to have to do it tired. You're going to have to do it sick. You're going to have to do it hurt. You're going to have to like push yourself. And that sad part is that you're going to break yourself and you may not make it because of having to go so hard. And that's the only way to make it, is to have to go so hard. Yes. I'm talking to the average people that's the student that I'm mostly drawing on these days. We're not out here mostly with Division I level athletes coming in our doors every day. We're getting mostly regular people with jobs and careers or families or whatever.
Which that's a sign of the growth of the sport, right?
No, of course. It's great. That's what
Right.
I mean. It's good. That's what I'm looking for in a lot of ways. I want those good people of all different sorts to come in and work hard and train and apply their various crafts to our craft. You know, like Taylor, for instance, it was funny. He was rolling with one of the new guys this morning, maybe, or maybe the other day. And I just realized, like, hey, you know that guy's a pharmacist, right? And he's just like this big, terrifying black belt heavyweight guy. But, he, his real life, he's a pharmacist. It's just like, what? Or just like all those different, like he's a super smart person.
Right.
And he doesn't have to go out and be, he doesn't need to come in there and do 100 burpees before he trains. So
he's just there to learn the art and do the art.
And have fun and to share his time with us too. He's a benefit to us by doing that, So yeah, I'm not a fitness coach. I'm not here to teach you strength and conditioning. I'm not here to teach you, so if you're a professional athlete, then your jiu-jitsu coach probably shouldn't be your strength and conditioning coach.
You need a strength.
You should be doing that at a different time. Yeah. Maybe sometimes that does lead into your class if that's how your day is set up and it works out for your body and your coach thinks it's a good idea. But yeah, typically they can't be the same person. Typically a good person has a different person for the segments that they're working on. Like if you're doing MMA, you have maybe 4 or 5 different coaches that you need on staff, if you want to be really high level. Like you can get by with one really good coach who can help you do most of the things, but he's just not going to be able to be the best at everything.
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of like coach diversity.
If he's the best jiu-jitsu guy, he's probably not going to be he just won't have the same depth of striking as a guy who's a better striker.
Right.
But that guy won't have the depth of jiu-jitsu, and neither one of them will have the depth of strength and conditioning as a real, legit, scientific, doctorate level fitness coach. So then if you see, that's why you don't hear me give a lot of that kind of like advice to people all the time. Most of what I'm trying to teach people to do is to take a few days, not burn yourself out. If you're really tired, rest. That's the opposite of what you hear. A lot of places is like, bro, you got to keep going harder, man. Or you can't miss a day. No days off, no days off. Yeah. And it's like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit, man. You have to take days off. You have to rest. You have to take days that you don't think about it.
I had to learn that lesson the hard way.
You're either gonna do it or you're gonna be forced to do it. See, it's either gonna be choice or none. Eventually, it's gonna happen, one way or the other. And so, what I can tell you is that you can always just go harder, but that's definitely gonna hurt. Definitely going to hurt.
Eventually.
Rest may hurt if you do too much of it too. But if you're already hurt a little bit, maybe a little bit of rest is the right move, And so, dude, like this is an argument I would have at some of my MMA gyms back in the day too. Like sparring would be Friday at 11. And this is after I'd already been deep into my career maybe and had several fights and stuff. But sparring is Friday at 11. Well, conditioning was also Friday at 10. I wouldn't do conditioning at 10 on Friday. I would do my conditioning Friday evening or afternoon. Well, the people who did their conditioning before and were tired were mad because they were getting served by me because I was fresh. Mm. And they're like, you're not doing the work. It's like, when am I not doing the work? I'm doing the sparring now. I'm going to go do the stuff later. I'm doing more work maybe because I'm sparring fresh, and then I'm going to rest, and then I'm going to be able to condition probably a little bit more fresh.
Well, and that's that. I mean, most of the stuff you read, they talk about that it's better to be, especially when you're doing things like strength training or building your cardio. Like if you're not coming at it fresh, you're not giving it the full go.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So then you come at it fresh, and you give that all you have, and then you go spar. So then you're taking damage that you shouldn't take when you're sparring. So then that's going to limit you in a way that maybe coming in and getting your work in first and then doing the conditioning later, you know, you may not be able to condition as hard later because maybe you did spar a little bit harder, but that is also conditioning. It's also a form of what you need to do to condition your body for whatever fighting or grappling, you like doing the thing. You got to do the thing. Like, so yeah. So like, that's what I'm trying to do. I think I'm trying to build the skills through the work.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get people to get in shape for jiu-jitsu through doing drills that you can get through your work, you know, on your own. And if you're lazy, it'll tell. And if you're not, then you'll get plenty of time to get work in. And then we do live drills fairly often. And then we definitely set at least probably 30 minutes for anybody that's wanting to do it to roll. There's open mats on Sundays that are 2 hours that you could roll. There's a thing on Saturday that I'm sure people probably could roll out if they wanted to that I don't come to because they don't let me for some reason.
I've got one question in the comments, and I've actually got a question that is one that I've had for you before. Is like, what's your feeling towards, like, bro, when I was a blue belt and the first moment that I got my hands on a set of keys, we were up there every chance we got, and we were basically just rolling because we were idiots and didn't know anything else. But like, what's your feeling towards that?
Again, what are you doing? Like, if you're just up there beating each other up, it's probably not that smart.
Right.
If you're up there trying to like drill and figure stuff out and working through the processes and troubleshooting what you're learning and things like that, I think it's a great idea.
Like, would you say that, like, where I learned to chill out and not just be beating each other up was the positional sparring, learning how to like start in a position and the goal not be like submit, sweep or anything. It's the position. Yeah. So if we ever get out of position, we go back to the position.
Stay control.
Yeah.
You know, if you progress, good, but the main thing is not to lose this. Is to learn how
what does
not
it feel
to
like?
lose it.
Yeah.
The control of So that's how you can focus on some of those really small fights that matter a lot. And that's what we try to do with a lot of the live drills that we do. Is like, there's a segment of the pattern that will say, meet me here at this part, and we're going to try to go live from there. And sometimes I have to be like, and for the person who is not on offense, this is clearly set up right now for you to lose. Like,
give them a real look.
You're going to lose this 95% of the time, but it's for them to feel that
5% when you
see
lose
what it needs. Yeah. If you don't. And then, so that way you also, again, like with me or with Taylor or someone like that, the higher belts, you'll get to feel what it's like to have one of them in this position, like pretty deep as a starting point, where you may not get that in a roll deep enough to feel what that feels like. Because I'm going to maybe let you work, but I may not let you work as far as I'm going to let you get when we're starting a live drill practice. So, you know, that puts it again, you're conditioning with the thing. You're doing the thing for conditioning.
Yeah, which that kind of also dovetails into the question. Richard asked if, do people understand that they don't have to be X to do jiu-jitsu, fit, strong, flexible, etc. So, like, here you're saying you develop it.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't know anything. People don't know anything.
Just
your students learn from you, and just like you learned from whoever you learn stuff from, but people don't know anything. They're wrong. Like, just think of it. Like, just think of that's why we have so much power in what we do with jiu-jitsu. Is the average Joe that walks in, if you've been training 6 months and you get your hands on somebody that's brand new, it's like, oh, all right, I'm pretty badass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But respectively, nah, you know, there's a whole world of like sharks out there that would eat you. But compared to the minnows, yeah, man, you're snacking for sure. You know, and it's not, so that curve is very short. The long play is where I still don't know if people get it because they weren't taught it that way. A lot of people are still taught the really hardcore warrior culture type jiu-jitsu room where you go hard or go home. You can't, you know, no chill all the time. And that's a different kind of place. That's a competition-based, high-level competition room. Is gonna be more hard. It's gonna suck for you, average person, to be in an elite level room. Just like the Olympics or whatever. Like if you make the Olympic team, it's gonna be hard work. But it's already been so much hard work to get to that higher level that you understand things that other people that they won't understand. And I guess that's what I say all the time. Some people just can't understand some of the things that I think about every day because they've never even been close to some of those like cliffs. I guess they've never flipped a tire 20 times, much less 100,
and then go die.
Fought 20 people.
That's
for an hour.
That's the next part. That is the. I mean, like, how many times have you just gone? Okay, well, today's gonna be a day that sucks because nothing you're doing's working.
Dude,
it's slippery.
Like
there's some big dude on top of you just breathing in your ear.
Dude, straight up, just like you live that way when you're being super uber competitive. Guy was that Ensign Inoue quote about, at least once in your life you gotta train and prepare like you're willing to die that day. You gotta give it like I'm willing to go all the way today to see what that's like one time. At least you gotta be willing to do that one time to be great. You got to know what that blood feeling in your mouth is, but it's not because you got hit. It's because you've been working so hard and your lungs are bleeding. There's inflammation because you've been going so hard. That's not average. Average people don't do that shit. They don't. So if you're in this, you're not average. You're above average just by being in there and doing it. That's what you got to get people to understand. And that's why we say just show up. It sounds lame, right? But it's true. And that's everything that you do, every time, everywhere. Just show up and do the thing, and things will work out. Sometimes it won't. That's true. You got to take the losses. That's true. It happens. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it's really bad. But you got to show up and do the thing if you want to have it. And then the people who don't show up, they don't have an opinion about it. It doesn't matter what their opinion would be about it then. If they're not out there in the arena throwing down with you, whatever you're doing, slinging, snacks, or if you're slinging left hooks. If they're not in your industry doing the work you're doing, you don't have to take their advice. You don't have to care about their opinion that much. So that's what we're doing. It's not about just smashing and all that kind of stuff anymore. That element's there, right? We're learning how to do that. But we're learning how to swing that hammer only when it's necessary. We're saving that big hammer for when we need it the most. You don't want to go around just smashing everything and breaking it because then there's nothing else that exists, right? You want to use the right tools at the right time. And that's the finesse way, right? That's the way. You can't just go around and break everything. That's not going to work. There has to be a season for repair. There has to be like a restorative time. For all those killing seasons, you have to also like have a vacation time if you want to, think of it that way. You can't just be killing all the time. There's more to life than that.
Have to have a time of the doubt.
Unless you're just going all the way in, right? But then when that goes away, you're going to be in that valley now. Right. So it's coming one way or the other. Whether you're the elite athlete person that smashes their way to the top, when that runs out, you're going to hit that valley also. So it's coming, right? So that's the thing. Just dig in. Just show up. Try to learn. Try to listen to your coach. And try to think for yourself too, though. Try to be honest about what's going on around you. And if your environment's not, like, good for your learning, then maybe it's not the right place for you. I know that sometimes our way is not going to be the way for some people. They're going to want a more like intense daily situation, I guess, for some, or however you want to say it, maybe. And that's fine. You know, maybe we'll grow one day to have coaches that are a little bit like that more. But for now, I'm the main coach, and typically we're pretty chill and laid back and really about the information more than everything else. So if you're into that, then this is the place. You know what I mean? You don't have to be much more than interested to make it. You know, all you got to do is be there and interested in the stuff, and you'll start getting a lot better.
I think you can grow into that too. Like I think that
That's the point,
guys
though.
can learn, and then
When they learn, now they can take it. Now when they ask for it, they know what they're asking for. But when a guy walks in fresh and he's like, "Oh yeah, I just want to go hard, dog," you know, and I just wreck this guy, what does that do for him? Really, you know, it proves that I'm better than him. Well, I know that. Like I'm well aware of that fact. I don't need to do that to people, but people want to feel it for some reason. A lot of times, some people people hate themselves or whatever. They want to go through that pain. They want to feel that fire. They want to overcome something. What it is, you know, that's mostly what it is. They're wanting to overcome something in themselves for various reasons. You know, they're trying to prove it to themselves that they can take it. And so that's what I'm saying. Just showing up, that proves it. Being present, that proves you can take it, right? Being hurt, that and like getting somebody to hurt you or whatever and stuff like that, that's not being present. That's trying to disassociate from what you're really feeling. You're trying to transfer that energy to something else, you know? And I think you're just passing the buck a lot of times when you're doing that, because you're trading one pain for real physical pain.
That's deeper than just the jiu-jitsu there.
That's the whole thing, bro.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. And that's why I talk about like some of that with you sometimes. It's like, I get it. I did it. I know. That's how I know. Like experience. It is the experience. I know. I did it because that's what I thought I had to do. And I think I maybe did. Maybe I did need to know. But now I can tell other people that you don't have to do it that bad maybe. Maybe there's a little bit like closer shoreline that you could swim to.
But do they, I mean, it's almost like the same concept of like letting your kids, letting
No,
your kids fail. Like you have to, sometimes they gotta hurt.
And so ask me for it and I'll take you.
You'll go see what it took to learn this.
I'll go with you to the water, man. I'll go. I'll stand right there and I'll hold you on the way back. I'll hold your hand on the way back. You know, I'm fine with it. I'm cool with it if you're cool with it. Like I'm down to go down with you.
But I want to know that you're down.
And you got to know. Like I want to know that you know
what you're doing.
This is what it is. And so when it happens, just know that it is what it is. And I'm just going to have to be honest with you too. If you get whatever happens, like it's not a thing about your character most of the time. It's probably something technical, you know. And then if it is something about your character, then that's something you need to address maybe. And then that's going to be one of those uncomfortable conversations that we got to have, you know, sometimes. Maybe I think we talked about that a little bit last week too. Just like sometimes you got to pull people to the side and tell them, you know, directly, this is not what you think it is, or you're giving the wrong feedback, or people are getting the wrong feedback from you. You know, there's something, and that's uncomfortable for me and for other people, I'm sure. You know, it's like, hey, I need to talk to you for a second. I can feel them get stiff, you know. But I'm doing it from a place of love, and it's me trying to be truly compassionate for you, trying to help you really understand what's going on. If I love you and I don't tell you something that could help you do better, and I just say, oh, yeah, that's good, man. That's good enough. You know, Isaac, yeah, I like that, Isaac. I like it. And I just keep telling you I like something, but I really don't like it. Eventually it's going to piss me off one day when I'm not feeling good. And I'm going to snap on you about the thing that's been fine. And you're like, but you said it was fine, man. And it's like, it's been getting on my nerves the whole time. Whereas if I would have just went to the beginning and said whatever, you know, and we could have just talked about it, you would at least know what's going on when I say that, God, that's getting on my nerves, dude. You can be like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. That's the thing he didn't like. And so at least we've talked about it now. And we can, like, you'll understand where that frustration comes from if it pops up again at another time. Or if people start avoiding you, hey,
You're doing the thing.
or you're not doing the
Or
thing.
not doing the thing, yeah.
So it could be either one, right? You could be the one that's like throwing bows on people for no reason because that's not really what hey, chill out, You can do it that way, right? But we don't want to have to do it that way, so we're not doing it that way too purposely. Or you could be the one that's just like limp and not engaged. You're not doing the.
How do you address that one? I've recently been in some gyms or rooms that have some like most of them are younger, like 17 to like 20, and they're really like disengaged, and you're like, we need to be, we're grappling, like we need to attack each other. Like, how do you address that guy?
It's a little bit
Or girl.
hard. It's a person, yeah. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's everybody sometimes, and then. That's the thing again with like a newer school is like when I'm trying to teach certain things, they don't get it because they haven't done the thing enough yet to get to this point of understanding. It's like, and then when I do this, he's going to pull his arm out. And they're like, well, he's not pulling his arm out. And it's like, well, then I would just break his arm right here. So he pulls his arm out because he doesn't want this arm broken, like I've said 5 times. Now I do a triangle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that thing. And it's like, well, he's not posturing up. And it's like, well, then do the next thing that was easier right before he didn't posture last time. Remember? Because you already had him down, then he postured up, and then you did the thing. Well, now he's not posturing, so then you don't have to do this thing. You do the first thing. Or then this other thing that is stupid.
Then you're doing jujitsu,
and that's what I tell them is like, it's stupid. I get it. That's what I say. I understand this is stupid, and it's choreography. It's a little bit weird. You have to play it this way with them. You have to give this reaction, or they're gonna hurt you somehow. Okay, we're trying to go through the progression in a way that doesn't hurt you, so they're not fully like engaged every time that they're drilling like an armbar. You're not like going as fast as you can, like cranking arm bars out on someone because that's going to hurt their arm eventually, like pretty quickly probably. But like, you know what I mean? That snapping on somebody's arm, it's not good. So you're trying to apply this stuff without cranking on your opponent too hard, and you're trying to learn it or whatever. But then you don't know that they're not helping you do it right either because you don't even understand the move yet. So then, I don't know. You just got to keep saying the same thing a bunch of different ways. And hopefully this person picks it up, and then that person will pick it up, and then they'll start telling it to each other,
What's that like watching your own students that like you've fostered them from day one, and now they're starting to teach each other? Like, what does that look like?
Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's really good. Sometimes it's like, stop. Hey, don't do that. And I had this conversation with one of the guys the other day, actually. We're doing rubber guard this month. But we've done rubber guard before a couple of times since we've been here, and people that have been here the whole year have seen it multiple times. And when they've done it the other times, we've kind of only went through a couple of ways to do like the go-go clinch series and stuff like that. So most people were trying to go straight to that. And I was like, no, like that's fine, but that's not what we're doing right now. So don't do that. Like, don't do that. And then like everybody kept doing it. So like the one night I like called the whole room back right at the end of class and was like, okay, listen, this is where the whole, you got to do the thing came from. Like if they don't do this, then you don't, like, there's no reason to worry about it. Like you don't have to do any jiu-jitsu if they're not going to try to like beat you up or smash you or drive into you or pull out or whatever. Like you don't do any of this stuff. But when I'm trying to teach you a specific thing, if you think you know it already and you're just going to the end of it, then you're skipping the most important things that are going to help you get to the thing that I'm trying to tell you. Yes, this first thing and then probably even this second thing would lead to this third thing right here. But it also leads to this third thing, which leads to a whole other set of moves that don't come when you do that other third thing. They don't send you down the same path anymore. So when you choose that, you need to be aware that you're not doing the thing that I'm telling you anymore. So then when I'm telling your partner to react a certain way, they physically can't because you're not doing the move right. And so then now they're resisting the move a different way. And now they don't even know what they're doing yet. Maybe this partner hasn't even seen rubber guard at all. So they think that's what I'm telling them to do. So then I look over at the new person and they're doing it. And it's like, he doesn't even know it.
That's how you end up with an entire room that's doing an entire everything
And that's
wrong.
where it comes from.
Yeah.
It's like, this guy literally does not know that. Okay, stop. Everybody's going too far. This is where I've learned maybe my openness and freedom to let everybody explore during class is not always the way. Because people go too far. They're happy, and they don't mean to do it in a bad way. They're excited to share what they know. But what you know is that one thing. What you don't know is what I know. And that's what I'm trying to teach you. So let me do that teaching. You know, when I say, we're going to go here, he does this, we're going to go here, and then that's all I want for now. That's all I want for now. Because there's probably something else next that you may not understand. Okay? I think you probably have a good understanding of these first two things. Let's stop there. And once I see everybody really has that, then we'll all move to that third thing. And you may already know it. That's cool. You may be good at the third thing too. That's cool. I appreciate that. Just wait though, because I don't want everybody else trying to do that yet. I don't even want them to think about that yet. I want them to think this is as far as we're going, because then they're going to be trying to go to the thing already, which you can't do without doing these two things. You know, so it's that process over and over and over again. But having some good students, having some people that show up enough, that they see it enough, and they hear stuff from me enough, I hear them say things that I say, and it sounds a lot like what I would say, so I'm happy, you know. Or, like, I'm happy that we've established a culture where people can say, this is what I like, but it's not necessarily like a demand to do it that way. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. It's like, you can like it your way. You can do it your way. But that doesn't mean that's the right way. That doesn't mean that's the best way. That doesn't mean that's the way that I'm going to do it, you know? So you can share that information, and that's cool. Now, that doesn't, don't force it on other people, though. Especially if you're not the coach at the time. You know, if you're teaching someone in the room, like you're the head of the whole room, then yeah, you can, like, that's the point, is to impose your, like, system in the room, the teaching. That's what I'm doing.
That's what everybody's there for.
That's the thing. That's my thing, is to teach it, you know, and to share the information on it most of the time. Now, sometimes when I feel like everybody's kind of getting it, that's when I'm like, all right, I want to see some, you know, some variations on the ending on what you're kind of working on, you know, because by the end of the month, we've seen several different transitions that could work. And then your preference is cool to me, because then I see how you can play it out. You understand why you're making that choice instead of another choice. Instead of just like, this is the way. It's like, well, what if he don't do that? What do you want me to do? You know, it's like
one of the other things.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so I don't know. It's just funny, man. Coaching is awesome. I love it. It's so much fun. It can be frustrating sometimes, though, because sometimes the answer is so easy that people can't get it. It's so right in front of them that they can't get it. And that's frustrating, because it's like, I'm doing a bad job of relaying this information, obviously, and so that frustrates me. When someone doesn't understand something, or I can't get the point across, that's frustrating to me. And a lot of times it's not, and I don't think it's them being stupid. A lot of times I think it's me probably not being able to explain it. And then sometimes I may, like, get angry at them, and my first response will be that they're stupid. But a lot of times the answer I come back to after I've thought about it is like, man, I could have gave them a little bit better information maybe on that, instead of just like a snappy response, to just be like, in charge or whatever, and that's another one of those things like I've saw in rooms that I like to try to avoid. It's just being just because I said so, do it the way I said to do it because that's the way, I want you to work on the way I want you to work on it the way I'm asking you to in my class. You can do whatever you want when you're in your free time though. But when we're doing a specific set of things during this time, I just want you to do it that way, and then when you roll, you don't have to do it at all. Like I said, you can do whatever you want. You can, as long as it's within the rules, I don't care. You can be wrong. It's fine with me. I've been wrong before too. So that's the culture I want to have. I want people to be able to be free to think for themselves. But I want them to also understand when you have a valuable resource in front of you, you should tap into that as much as you can and really like dig deep into the thing that you're doing, that you want to do, that you're into. Like go deep often on different things. Like when you find the new thing that interests you, take it all the way out. Like go all the way down the rabbit hole and know as many things as you can about it. That's all. Like then that'll translate into so many other things that you could use in other, like it could be jiu-jitsu or not. You could use some of the stuff you learn from your videography and photography skills, you can apply to jiu-jitsu or vice versa. You can start applying the same principles of learning or principles of leadership or the principles of entrepreneurship that you learn through one to the other. And then, that's a well-rounded person. That's a person that's valuable, in a lot of ways. They don't just do one, like there's nothing wrong with doing one thing, but that's the thing. Like if you just do one thing, that gets boring to me. That is super boring. The repetition of things like over and over and over again. That's why I couldn't do a desk job very well. That's why I couldn't do stuff like that. I just get so antsy. I hate it. Like I'll find a way to get fired or something when I was doing that stuff a lot. But I can stay with this, like with training and jiu-jitsu and fighting and stuff, because it's always changing. There's always a new answer to something. There's always something else that somebody did.
A new puzzle.
Yeah, and it's like, well, kind of like I said, it's like I'll be like, man, I really like this thing right here, and then somebody will be like, oh man, like I would just counter that, and then you could really like talk it through, like with Gabe, for example, like I've done that with him several times. Just tell him that he sucks or whatever he's working on, and then like it'll come back around and catch me, because like I'd really believe that it's like, oh, that would never work, but he'll double or triple down on it to figure out how to catch me in it, and then what I can't argue. Like I have to shut up now.
You got any current puzzles you're playing with?
Man, I'm trying to put together some more of this 50-50 game that people are doing now.
Oh, yeah.
Some of that back take stuff. I'm digging into those now a little bit more, because that seems to be what's on trend. So I want you guys to be able to, so that we can understand that.
Keep it up with the times.
Yeah, dude, that's the whole thing, right? Like the classic style is always going to be good. The fundamentals are always going to be good, but people are always working on new stuff. They're countering the counters like daily. People are constantly in the lab. These guys live in their gyms, literally. That's all they do. They don't have anything else that they do but obsess over this stuff. So, yeah, you got to stay up or you're going to get left behind. It's just as true as anything else, right? And whatever your given field is, if you're a doctor, if you graduate, medical school or whatever, and then you never go take another course in like 10 years or less, I don't want you to be my doctor anymore. You know what I mean? You're not going to be the top of the chain.
Continuing education, too.
It's
like they all do
you
that.
You have to. And as a black belt school owner, leader of people, you have to constantly be gaining new stuff. You have to be on the hunt for education. To be a teacher.
How do you do that as a black belt?
I just read, I look up, I watch videos, I talk to people, I travel to do seminars with people. I've done more seminars since I've been a high level, like gone to more seminars since I've been probably a brown and black belt than I did the whole time I was a lower belt. I didn't see the value in it before because I was looking at it the wrong way. Now I can see the way of taking what I can take, what I need from it, and then discard the rest. It doesn't have to be all for me. But what's for me is for me in each one. Each person's thing could have something for me.
Yeah,
know?
that's every single thing is like I'll listen to the white belt describe something because I'm like, oh, that was trash, but that one thing you said, that's a really good idea, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's true, it's important to listen and to understand like all the things that are going on. And so again, like you have to be working on yourself. If you're going to be a teacher, you have to be learning. You know, you want to educate, you have to be educated.
Go to the mountaintop.
You got to. And like for me now as the head coach, that's one job, right? So now I have to learn how to be a good like coach to people, which is like that stuff from the side of the mat. Like when I'm like, hey, put your hand right here, Isaac, real quick or whatever, and you turn and look at me and they sweep you. And it's like, oh, we have to figure that out together for us. And I have to do that with you and Zach and Becca.
I'm pretty coachable for the record.
But I'm just saying, like in the moment, whoever it is in class,
yeah, I get
you're not tuned into me yet. We haven't quite said the words enough or whatever. That's a skill set that I have to develop to know when and how and where to do the right things. But for each person, not like it can't be the same thing every time because some people need you to be calm and some people need you to be more animated and like hyped up when you're coaching them in those moments.
I had somebody who I didn't want in my corner that I was like verbally like, I don't want you in my corner again because it stressed me out.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I don't want to do that for sure. And I've always been the one that would like in groups of coaches, I would defer to the athlete to choose who they would want to listen to. Like, it's not going to hurt my feelings if you would rather someone else speak more, you know, because I can just say to them and they can say to you or whatever or not. If you trust them, then we need to go with that because that's what we are doing is we are trying to help you. So yeah, there's a lot of things like that. And then, you know, like the philosophy thing is ongoing constantly, right? Because we're constantly poking holes in it. Like right now today, we're constantly poking holes in that philosophy thing about the way. What is this too hard? Is this too soft? How hard is too hard? What is not going hard enough that we don't get a real look? You know, do you have to compete ever? There'll be huge disagreements on that. I see posts on the internet all the time in some of these weird groups that I've gotten put into for jiu-jitsu stuff. And people are just like, if you don't wear the gi and you come to my school, you got to wear a white belt. And if you have a black belt and no gi, it doesn't really count and stuff like that. It's like, how ignorant are people now that's a thing that they still say confidently is that they would demote someone like me or Boogie or Gio to a white belt, you know, because they don't wear the gi. That's ignorant, you know. When you put on the gi, it's like being in a spider's web. It's like, well, I don't like being in a spider's web, bro.
So I'm just gonna take off that spider's web.
Like I don't fight in that much. I don't chill in my life form that much in a feudal Japanese robe.
I just play worm guard on them until they take it off.
I see the application. I understand that it is very useful and that there is a lot of intricacies to the positioning and the base and the stripping of grips and the
I like
posture.
my fingers, honestly.
There's a lot of stuff like that too that it's like, yeah, like how realistic is that too? You know what I mean? Like, and then again, how many of y'all are punching each other with the gi on or doing any combat jiu-jitsu in the gi? Maybe then we could talk. Whoa. Let's do some like Gracie Challenge stuff. You know what I mean?
Bro, somebody hanging on to a collar tie and just feeding you right hooks.
And that's what I'm saying, because like even
Sambo.
If you're wearing the gi, you can wear your gi, and I'll go no gi.
I do that all the time,
and then we can fight.
They don't like that.
I think I have the advantage in that play because now you don't have a significant amount of your tools, and you can wear your gi, and I'll still have all mine. Now I have more. You know, so like the thing is that, and if you look at it like, I don't know, man, when we were kids and stuff, especially, I don't know, I don't get in a lot of street fights anymore, but like people would always take their shirt and their jackets and stuff off.
Yeah.
Right?
First thing comes off your shirt.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're fighting.
Everybody knows you're pulling on clothes and stuff, right? I mean, so whatever.
I never understood the football players that got in fights and threw their helmet off.
Dude, that was always so
I
dumb
was like,
to
bro,
me.
it's a weapon if it comes off.
Just take yours off to start swinging on somebody. Like, it's like,
Break your hand on his
no.
helmet. Real smart, bro.
What are we doing, people? What are we doing?
What we got coming up?
What do we have coming up? It's June.
Mm-hmm.
What's the 8th?
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
We're going to go June 8th today. All right.
Yep.
So
June 9th. No, we're on the 9th. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
The 31st of
I
July, though.
I had the right week.
Yeah.
Okay. This weekend, several of us are going to Jacksonville, to 10th Planet Jacksonville for this huge no-gi camp that they're having down there. We're going to go check it out. It's going to have Boogie, Gio, Brandon McCatherine, and Nate Orchard teaching seminars.
Sold out.
It's sold out. You can't come, but I just wanted to talk about it because I'm excited, man. These are some of my favorite people in the system, some of the best coaches in the system for sure. And so I'm excited to go down there and get to be around them again and maybe feed off some of that energy and bring it back here. And then for a lot of us to go down there and be able to train with them, that's super exciting. You know, there'll be 100 people there probably at least that are training. So it's going to be an experience. You know, it's going to be an event in and of itself to go and hang around and be around hopefully that many cool people, you know, and doing jiu-jitsu stuff. After that, July 4th, the week of July 4th, myself, Mandy, and the kids, we're going to go down to Samara, Costa Rica, to the Cosmic Traveler Jiu-Jitsu studio and the Coconut Life Cabinas. They're hosting us for a week. We're going to stay there, and I'm going to teach some classes at the school, trading out some classes for a room and, you know, just to go experience a new part of the country and share jiu-jitsu with somebody else that I don't know yet, you know, so it's going to be fun. Go see and do new things and take, like we talk about all the time with the kids, they're going to get to go do this stuff with us because of all of the stuff that I do. Like that's what makes it worth it now, is that I'm actually starting to be able to reap the benefits of some of that, all that hard work and all that trouble that we had.
Mandy said the Thrive seminar as well.
Oh, June 26th. Thanks, babe. June 26th. I forgot about that. I am going to be in Tifton at Thrive Jiu-Jitsu at our boy Richard's school. Richard Schronecker is opening the school. It just started down there in Tifton. He's going to be affiliated with us, at least, you know, with me up here for now until we can get him his black belt in a few years or however long it takes and stuff. But they're going to have a school down there that I'll be teaching at 6 a.m. Tuesdays and Thursday mornings for the next however long we can work it out, starting after that July 4th trip. But the 26th, we're doing a seminar down there. I'd love to see as many people as we can come check it out, because this will like lead into his grand opening. So we try to get some hype going for that. So yeah, really like hyped up and appreciate that, because that's like helping put a footprint a little bit closer down there, you know, in another section of the state, you know, getting our footprint, like I say, spread out more with those guys. It's cool. It's cool to see the influence already, you know, starting to try to spread a little bit from here. So then, yeah, the July 4th week, the 31st, that's the next big thing that, like, is an event that we are doing. We're having another Mid-South Classic. It's going to be the fourth one.
Number four.
Wow. Like, you know, we're doing all this stuff in a year, right? This will be the fourth one of these tournaments. It's an EBI rules tournament. 10 minutes in regulation, 3 overtimes. Maximum time for control in each overtime is 2 minutes, top and bottom. If you're not familiar with EBI rules, you can look up some stuff on YouTube. There's plenty of stuff out there. Maybe we'll come out with a couple of videos actually to kind of highlight some of that. That would be a good idea. Post a few of those on here just for anybody that's ever curious. We're doing that here in Perry. It's going to be $100 buy-in for the 8 people. We're going to add at least $200 to the pot for each bracket. That's going to give them $1,000 each to the winners. We're also going to have our twister bonus that we always have for the first twister of the day. That'll be another $100, sponsored by Parkway Automotives. Is it sales? Or just Parkway Automotive Sales?
I think it's just Parkway Automotive Sales.
Yeah, those guys. These guys. Our guys. They're going to throw down because they love twisters. And so we want to see them. We want to pay for them. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to pay for high-level grappling to come to the area. And we want these people to be able to support themselves if they're really out there on the hunt and they're really trying to like chase this thing down, man. I really want to be a part of that. I really want to be a part of like the next wave of like jiu-jitsu and grappling down in the South, especially in Georgia.
Did you say the weights? 185 men?
185 men, 135 women and under. So you don't have to be that much, but you can't be over that. So a lot of times people hear that and they think, oh, I'm not 185, I'm 170. It's like, cool, come on in at 170, you know, and just run it. Yeah, I mean, cool. Or ladies, I don't know how small you could be, but you could be as small as you want and do 135. Or, you know, if you can make 135, I don't know how sized of a lady that is, you know, but, you know, you can come on in and roll. We've already got some names that are going to be pretty dope. We got some tough people that are jumping in. I'm not going to really release any of that because we want to get it filled out first. And then we'll start releasing some of the names, I think, again, because I'm pretty hyped up already based on some of the people that are in. That's July 31st. It's going to be live here on YouTube. We're going to definitely have Musgrove Trial Firm sponsoring that event. Thank you for that. They're sponsoring literally almost everything that we do for now.
Sheath is going to stay involved to some extent.
Is down. They're going to be a part of it. They were a part of the last show. So just like check
couple more others that we're talking to.
We're working on it. We're working on it, man. We're trying to, and listen, man. Of course, we're gonna eventually start making a little money off of this ourselves if it grows. But we're trying to take as much of the money as we can and start like putting it back into the athletes to help them like make more money, and then put a better profile on them to help the event be better, to help grow this thing and to do more types of shows and events. And like we're you know, dabbling with the idea of moving to maybe a theater or partnering with maybe some MMA shows to do some cage events where we're grappling in a cage, sort of like Submission Underground does. I mean, that would be fun to me, maybe do some of that stuff. I mean, it's all relevant, you know, in my mind. And why not? Why not do it if it's a thing that people want to do? We can facilitate it. I'm here for it. So yeah, July 31st, make sure you guys are tuning in, checking us out. You got to be subscribed to the channel.
It's on this channel.
This one. Like if you're watching this, then you should definitely watch that, because this is cool, but that's going to be really cool too. Cooler too. Cooler. More cooler. Yeah, so that's what we're doing until then. August is my son's birthday, anniversary from me and Mandy. So bam, bam, rolling right through the whole summer. Slinging and banging. We got July 24th, actually. We're taking a team to the New Breed in Augusta, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to be a thing. We're going to do a street fight against the guys from Ironclad. We're going to get our guys and some brass knuckles.
We're going to go fight behind the Papa John's.
We're going to meet.
Oh, man. I'm down for that. Like
we're going to do one fight at the Buc-ee's in Leeds on the way to Birmingham, and then we're going to do one here at Warner Robins in the parking lot.
Buc-ee's, if you want in on that sponsorship, hit us up.
It's going to be dope, man. It's just going to be like a big street brawl between us and the Ironclad guys.
Just not the face and hair.
Yeah, no, definitely not the face and hair. Everybody knows that that's off limits. But we're talking about that, maybe trying to do that the night before the Mid-South, like a team.
Oh, that would be fun.
Like a team duel kind of thing, just with our white and blue belt guys. So just for funsies, you know, just to get them a little bit of experience too.
10th Planet OnlyFans.
I mean, you know, whatever. We may stream some of it or whatever, but just, you know, to
get
some
OnlyFans.
experience. Oh, I don't know. I'm afraid of OnlyFans. I don't understand it. It scares me.
Craig Jones seems to have figured it out.
Well, Craig Jones doesn't have a wife and kids and stuff like that
Good
too.
point.
So I ain't trying to get caught up in none of that stuff. I'm good. But we could do it on YouTube. We can do it on something. You know, we don't have to have a paywall on it. We can do it for free for y'all because it'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
And it'll be a way for us to talk and have some stuff, and we can maybe bring Matt or Jake in, and we can do some analyzing of the matches or whatever, you know, do a breakdown or a show, or I don't know. There's a ton of different things we could do that can make it cool, that would help both of our programs really benefit a lot from it. And again, that's what we want to do, is like start really growing the whole thing and making the culture the way that we want it, right? And the only way to do it is to do the thing. You got to do the thing, right? So we're trying to have those open door policy with people, trying to, like, you know, share information, but trying to compete, you know, and be honest about it with people, and let's go. You know, we can all be friends, but we could also headbutt each other a couple of times and see what's up. I mean, I'm okay with that, you know, and I'm okay with winning and losing. I'm okay with some people beating me. I'm okay with some of our guys losing. I'm okay with them winning sometimes. It's okay.
Playing the game.
Yeah, that's how it goes. That's the fun. If you don't think you can lose, or there's no possibility to lose, it's not a competition. It's not. And so it's like I had this conversation with somebody before. It's like, this is why I don't like to go fishing that much, because like I got spoiled when I was pretty young and got to go to a stocked pond pretty early a few times. And so like my experience was that you can just like get the fish pretty easy. So like I don't like to go fishing. I like to go catching. You know what I mean? So
right.
So like they're different. Like you got to do one to get the other a lot of times. But like I don't really want to just go fishing, man. I want to go catching. I need some action. I'm out here trying to do the
You can catch and release, but you want to catch.
I just want to catch. Yeah, I don't have to keep them. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what we're doing with a lot of these tournaments and stuff. Is like I'm just trying to catch some jiu-jitsu vibes and get the thing going. Like I like the submission only style. I like the EBI rules. I like grappling in a cage. I like some of the combat jiu-jitsu stuff. So it'll be fun to see if there will be a way to kind of get some of that kind of stuff moving around out here. Or down in Costa Rica, maybe we could start running some international combat jiu-jitsu down there of our own. I don't know, man. There's all kind of crazy stuff that we're bouncing around in these chats I have with people while we're working out stuff. And if we can do it, we're gonna do it all. And if we can't, then we'll do what we can, you know. And so thanks everybody that's here, that's tuning into all the stuff. It's really cool to see the views and stuff on some of the things. And like, you know, like I said, some of the times that the numbers may not be in the millions or thousands, but like if this was like an auditorium and everybody that listens and tunes in was like sitting in front of us, it would be amazing to have that many people that like care about what we're doing and saying all the time. So thank you guys. It really, really does mean a lot. It really does keep me like pumped up and excited to keep sharing and doing this stuff. So really thank you guys for tuning in. And if you guys like this content, make sure you're sharing it with your people or your friends or people who are like you. Because if you like it and they're like you, then they may like it. And the more that we can get, the more we can give, you know, and that's what we're doing.
Cooler stuff we can make.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing, right? We got you trying to get into the PGF. You're going to do a few of those qualifier tournaments and stuff like that. So that'll be a thing, you know, we're going into that. And I think we have a couple other guys that may look to try to just do the qualifiers for experience and stuff that train with us, just, you know, just to see what it's like to go out there and be in one of those events. Because this is the cool thing about jiu-jitsu, and I think I've said that before too, is like you don't get the opportunity to go out there and just compete with elite level people in many sports. But like grappling, you can just, a lot of times you can just kind of sign up and pay $100 and you may be able to go against like a world-class guy that could be one of your heroes and stuff at a certain point. You just get to a certain level and pay the money. You know, that, and however you feel, like you're probably going to get served, but that would be really cool, right? You get to grapple against or shoot hoops with, I don't know, I guess
Jordan.
Yeah, you know, LeBron James.
Yeah, I guess LeBron is their Jordan.
Yeah. Kids.
They'll never know.
Disgust me. So beyond that, though, thank you guys again. Just, you know, can't say that enough. We're really excited. We had some drop-ins from Fight Sports last week.
Definitely not a day one. Definitely not.
6 a.m. a guy shows up from Fight Sports in Miami at our class. I think it was last Friday. I think Orlando Castillo. So it's super cool guy. Really fun to train
nice.
with. They were so fun. It was just like, that's cool. That's the thing, is like, so that's what I'm leading into. We're right off of 75, basically here in the middle of Georgia. So if you're traveling anywhere up and down this area and you get stuck, we do a lot of 6 a.m. training. So you can find a room close by us. You can come drop in,
guys.
Get some training. Yeah, straight up. There's the Guardian Center thing that's over there. We have people that come in and cross train a little bit with us that come. So we're right on the main like artery running through Georgia, north to south. So if you're ever coming through this way, stop in. We love having visitors. I really do. I enjoy it. I like sharing information and, you know, meeting new people. So definitely come and check us out. 10th Planet Perry. We're at 322 Perry Parkway. We're right next to Papa John's, but we're way better than Papa John's. So don't go to Papa John's. Go to 10th Planet Perry.
Then you can hit Papa John's afterwards.
Yeah. Oh, they give us like 30% off all the time. So hit them up.
5, 4, 3,
Peace.
2, 1, 0. All engines. One, two, three.